let's go. So e4, this is a game we have. It's apparently a rapid game online, so that's what we got. So e4, e6, d4, d5. So this is, we have a French defense. Yeah. So what are the underlying ideas? Let's try to start. Let's just forget about all the theories, ideas, what's going on. Why black just play e6? Why not just play e5 in the first move? I mean, really, I was just thinking, we just take it as granted. You just say e6, d5. Why not you just, I mean, you are buying a lot of trouble for yourself after e4, e6, d4, d5. I mean, this bishop got issues, right? This bishop got issues. Why would not just, what is the counter? Why not to play e5? What's the counter? Why would black play e6? What kind of imbalances black is seeking that would compensate for just having a bad bishop for almost the entire game most of the time? Well, one thing, yeah, that's a very reasonable argument that I just want an imbalanced position. The way I see it is that, for example, if I play, okay, in this game, white played e5, advanced line, but black is seeking immediate exchange of central pawns and being left with what I call a simple, in the small center with one extra pawn here, so we'll have 4 against 3, and on the other side, 3 against 2 for white. So black will have kingside majority of 4 against 3, and minority of 2 against 3. If it's, oh yeah. So, and would like to have, give away space, we'll have this bad bishop, but with this imbalance, we would be able to try to play for a win. So that's, but you know, it's again, you could be, but in 2 moves, I can just say that black is trying just to attack the center sooner. Because when you play e4, e5, you have less flexibility of playing d5. So this pawn is solid now. Just an argument, you know. Okay, e5, c5, c3. So we have French defense advance. White gain more space, but give up the possibility of keeping the tension on, and also another setback in white's position. What's another setback in white's position? C3, indeed. So black played here queen to b6, so immediately exerting pressure through this pawn over the d4 square, and also pinning this bishop to this pawn. This is also annoying. So white played knight f3, which is a fine move, and black played sort of, I'm sure it's a dubious move, but I couldn't refute it. So I'm sure it's a dubious move, but it takes so much time, and I checked it with my computer. Whoever was here on Tuesday, the biggest lesson was that check everything with your engine. Check everything with your engine. So I checked it, and it showed some advantage for white. But again, I'm not convinced that it's quite refuted. But the thing is that, okay, black played knight to h6. But now the first question is, can we take on h6? Oh, first of all, white played queen c2. Just I put it as a main line just to make sure where is the game. Take on h6. So, any suggestions? Maybe thinking a couple of minutes. Obviously, b2 is hanging, but what could be the aftermath? It's going to be shattered. Yeah. But again, after queen takes b2, this rook is in some sort of trouble, right? Yeah. Is there any way we can do something else? Because as I was analyzing this position, can I use the engine?
Control 3 should do it.
I know. I'm saying it won't freeze. Would it freeze the?
No,
shouldn't. All right. Okay, let's say we use the Houdini. I just want to show you something. You see, I wasn't that sure that it might not freeze.
That was the dragon roar.
Wow, this position has been analyzed? Really? Are you serious? Somebody actually, you see that these people who actually spend time analyzing this position. Wow. So it says taking on g7, but as you can see, okay, I don't trust this number. This is just throw it away. This doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, I was trying to trap this queen with this move after take. and just give a check, bishop there, take, and then trying to play like bishop there, yeah, take, and then castle, and trying to play knight d2, winning the, but c4, yeah, and queen here. What will happen after we win this queen? What do you think about this position? The ensuing position after this. So here, I couldn't convince the computer. I tried to play along with it, because my first reaction was that in this position, after queen takes b2, is that I'm a piece up. I'll try to trap that queen somehow, right? Because knight d2, g takes h6, and c4 was my initial thought. Does that say? It doesn't say c4? Maybe, yeah. And now I try to open up the game. Why do I want to open up the game? And you know, once this pawn has moved over here, it's weakened this square. But I really don't have access to it, you know. I mean, I wish, but really. So I tried to open up the game. Once you know the cloud would settle after all the exchanges, suddenly that black king become very vulnerable. So knight c6. On low depth, I didn't manage to convince my computer. There, c take d5, e take d5, and I just tried bishop d3, but it was saying c4. Yeah, I mean, I still don't believe that. I don't believe in this evaluation. I believe that we have a strong center, and bishop c2, c3. You can go knight b3, castle. Because I mean, think about it. I mean, it says this. But there's knight b4 is coming. But even that, I don't believe in this. Because I would remove my castle, I would remove this knight somewhere. I mean not this square, in fact, there. And then I start pushing this pawn. The thing is that black's counterplay is actually pushing this pawn, right? Black is up these pawns. And I don't see how black can push those pawns. But maybe, I mean, okay, there's some problem. I think maybe there's take, bishop f5. Maybe it doesn't work, but still, this is one way. But again, so I said this is not clear then. This position is not clear. That's why I went for queen b3. So takes, bishop b4, 5 check, bishop d7, take, bishop takes g7, take, castle. And now it changes its mind. It says now c takes d4. Still, if you show me this position and say you're gonna win that queen for sure, after b5, knight a3, take, a6, knight c2, I prefer white. But it's very interesting. Computer likes black. It suggests b5. I would go knight d2, queen takes f1, or okay, it includes c4 too. Doesn't matter. If you ask me, I rather be white in this position, because I see a clear plan for myself. Knight goes to h5 via g3, and well, of course you have this b4, which could be very irritating and annoying. But again, and the other knight goes to g5, attacking h7, and then if h6, the knight can go h7, then f6 becomes critical. I mean, I see all these things. This pawn can join to go to f5. I see clear plan for white. I don't see how black can react here. So this is one of those cases, again, that we have different understanding from the computer. So I really tried hard. I tell you, once we start looking at the classics, that how much I was struggling. And before the class, I showed that I showed Yasser that I chose a game of from Zurich, 1953, between, what was the players? Geller and Owe. It's a famous game. And I checked Kasparov's analysis. Again, with computer, didn't make any sense. The position was unclear. Now, I couldn't really decide where white went wrong. I just said, okay, I'm just going to drop this game. So this was one of those instances as we were going through. But this one, I would, if you would just show me this position, I would pick white. But white played queen c2, not quite the best move, but reasonable. What is not good about queen c2? There's one thing good about it and one thing not good about it. Not so great about it. I don't like the fact that we left this queen from d1 was defending this pawn. And now this guy is here. On the other hand, it covers f2. So in cases if you take on c5, this bishop comes to c5, this square is protected. Knight f5, and here white played. Okay, I don't need this guy anymore. Thank you. White played bishop to e3. What do you think about this move?
I don't like it.
Okay, I see. I see skunk in the faces. What's wrong with this move? The way I see, okay, I think I cannot go that far. Okay, the way I see this is, what bothers me is that, first of all, I can take any time I want on e3. So you're kind of exposing yourself to an exchange that is not forced. So that means that I can take my time and choose the right moment for myself to exchange. Second is that you really are not defending d4 because d4 was protected. And in this kind of play, as Nimsovich showed years ago in his book, famous book, My System, he said many things that over the time people challenged, and it turned from being great strategic achievements into yeah. So but this one he showed right that the pawn on e4 that secures the space is more important, and we can actually break our chain and use this d4 square for something else. So I would have actually tried taking on c5, and after d takes c5, bishop takes c5. Oh, good. Very good. Okay, very good. Bishop d3. And what we have here is, now I want to try b4, pushing this guy back, and then later on, maybe, I mean, probably not, but we also have this idea, maybe g4, pushing this knight back, and then bishop comes to e3 and trying to use this square. Or just b4 and then take on f5, maybe, and then using this square on d4. Either case, it's just fine for black. It's just fine for white. But bishop e3, I know white has a great emphasis on trying to protect this pawn, but not the right approach at this moment. So, knight c6. Now the other problem is that we don't also have d takes c5. Why? What do you think? Can I take on c5? We have some tactics here as black. First, exactly, and then this white's pawn. I mean, look at this. This is, and this you get e3, and then you will win e5, and black's position will fall. White's position will fall in 5-10 moves. So another setback. So after knight to c6, white played knight to d2, and here something funny has happened actually. C takes d4, c takes d4, knight f takes d4. Is this a good move?
Just go back to the before.
And knight takes back.
Then you go. And go queen a4.
Yes, and that's with check. And then if I go back with my knight, I just lose my queen.
Yeah.
And that was the winning move. And actually, probably black has a very good move here. Not taking on d4, but black should be very better. I was just checking. Let's just see. Yeah, just developing pieces. Just not take on d4. That's what I was checking. So just nothing. So c takes d4, and this was a blunder. So, oops. So, but here white returned a favor, big time. So, oops again. And because this is like a returning big time return, because this is now winning for black, from winning for white to winning for black. So, if I may, I add another substantial number of, yeah.
This looks like one of my games being imitated now.
Well, because it could cost you, from winning to losing, and it's big time. I don't know. Once you're offered a present and you just give it away with extra invest kind of return on the investment, so then it's big time. But anyways, this game gets funny very soon. So bishop takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, knight f3. I'm sure this check is very dangerous. In the game, black just played queen b6, which is still winning. But after bishop b4 check, I cannot go back with my knight because e5 is hanging. And if king e2, now I can consider going back. And then this bishop is coming here, rook is coming c8, and this king is on the way of this bishop, and this bishop is on the way of this rook. This is totally lost. But black played queen e6, queen b6 kind of gave the chance for this bishop to escape. But white, instead of that, went ballistic and long castle. So, but bishop d3 and bishop b4 check, king e2, and then I try to put the rook on c1. Now we actually kind of can, well, still a pawn down, still a really bad position. Rook to c1, and then, for example, we can go take, check, king e2, bishop d7, rook c1, bishop e7, h4, and h6, and now I can go castle. And then I can trade, and white will be a pawn down, suffering for a long time. Most likely this is, 100% this is losing by right play, but you can put up a much better resistance in this position. But white went for a long castle. Well, what can we say, as he won this game, so he won. So, black, and this is a great lesson in this game, as I was looking at it, that when you are winning, conversion of a huge advantage into a win is a real art. It is a real art. We look at Carlsen's game or Wesley So's game or all these stars, and you just feel that how easily they convert, and you say, "Oh, he did such a great job," and easily. And you say, "Oh, it's easy." No, it's not easy. It is not easy. So here, let's try, because believe me or not, white won this game in 10 moves. With the checkmate and follow, white was winning in 10 moves. So something might have gone really wrong for black. So let's now think that let's find 3 or 4 ways to win this position. What do we have? We have a pair of bishop as black. We have a pawn as a very strong central pawn now. We are very, very fortunate to have that pawn on d5, which is very strong. And white king is really exposed. c5 is open. So how many ways we have to continue?
Bishop d7, dragging the rook over.
So let's say bishop b7, I go rook, king b1.
Still move the rook over to c8, getting the tempo.
And if I go queen d2,
get my king bishop out, and c4, c5.
or b4 with an attack to my queen, yeah. Yeah, and gradually, and once your pieces are close, then you can castle and bring the other rook, and your attack is very strong. Or the other way, if you're very worried and you're not comfortable with having a queen, you can just play queen c5, trade the queens, and go for a long run, which is, it's winning. Pair of bishop, you still gonna go bishop d7. It's not the best way. I do not recommend it because white king is extremely vulnerable. It's vulnerable, so bishop d7 and the king on c1 is really in danger. But black played somewhat not really bad move, just played bishop e7. Okay, king b1. Now that's the tempo I take, right? Put my king to safety. That's a good move. We'll give all these marks over here, so we should give this one a good one. Actually, I have to give. Because now white starts to play good chess. So king b1, castle. Oh, that's not a castle. That's not a castle indeed. Oops. Okay. I give a dubious mark to this move. Why is that? Why did I choose to give a dubious mark to this move?
Too slow.
Too slow. One reason. What's the second reason? If you can give me some explanation, why do you think it's too slow?
I didn't think white's king, or excuse me, black's king was in any danger at that point. He could easily develop the other.
Fair point. Very good point. Very good point. Black. You could, if you can develop. Actually, it's very interesting. I think Bariev said that castle is a loss of tempo unless you have to do it. It's an interesting approach. I always thought of it as a developing move because I bring my rook and I connect my rooks. So it wasn't always about only bringing the king to the safety, but it also. But in this case, I could start with bishop d7 first, and bring my pieces, and then play accordingly. So it's kind of a waste of time, as you said. Okay, and it gives white a target now. Because when the king is on e8, you might play bishop d7. Maybe you just go long castle and play king b8 yourself too. But now we have a fixed target. And now this queen is kind of cast away with regard to this king and all these pieces. So now suddenly, having your king castled kingside, bless you, we kind of are not sure our pieces are really protecting our king. So actually, by castling, you made your king safe, yes. So white play bishop d3, and now what do? How do you defend your king? This is a very critical moment. This is a turning point of the game. If I'm not going to make the most accurate move of the board, that's a turning point, and it just becomes a snowflake, a snowball. Bad goes to worse, and just you lose control of things. So you said g6. Is g6 a good move? What about h6? Why don't play h6? Well, I'll tell you what, really, if you want to challenge yourself, I give you all 5 minutes and try to go through and try to decide, because this is very important. One move wins, the other move doesn't. It's that critical. You might say, really, that pawn move decides the game? In this case, it does. Also, obviously, we have to push one of the pawns, because f5, there's en passant, and then h7 is still hanging. So you have two choices, and one is a crucial mistake. The other one wins. So black is still winning. That's a very important thing. We know still black is winning, but one move throws away most of the advantage.
Well,
Absolutely. Well, knight g5 is not a real concern, but h4, h5, that was a very good point, and that was the main point here. With g6, remember we talked about the pawn chain. Once you push a pawn, you're bringing the head of the spear. Yeah, and now after g6, just to show you how big of a difference it makes, let's just call our friend Mr. Houdini and see what's happening. So h6 wins, g6 is out of picture. It's 0.5 or even less, because after g6, which has been played, you play h4. And bishop d7 is forced. h5, rook c8. it looks like a normal move, right? Actually, you have to play rook f to c8. You see, it's very interesting. Rook f c8 is the move. I don't know. Does it say that? Does it say that or no? Because rook a c8, white plays queen to d2, and now I'm heading to.
Wow. H6.
And you see, g6 gives a lot of weaknesses. Now it says 0. My analysis shows with a good engine, checked with an engine, that white actually can get better here. Bishop b5 is actually a good move. I didn't find that one, but if I go for it, I actually can lose. I thought, and there's no mate actually. Queen takes f2. You're checkmating me. I just cover it. Bishop takes e5. Now you want to checkmate me, but I again cover it again. Now I really want to just take here and then checkmate. So bishop g7 is the only move, but we have an in between move. Queen takes g7, king takes g7, and rook takes f2. And now it's 3 pawns, right? Let's see, is f3? Yeah, it's the 3 pawns. But we have a lot of activity. And the extra piece is more important than 3 pawns because the 3 pawns are not advanced enough. And also one point to make about that. So this check is a bad move because after it here, I think we can play e5, and there is no discovering check that is important. And this pawn suddenly becomes strong. So, well, obviously black has had better moves here. So rook f c8 must be played. Queen to d2, bishop b4, queen to h6, bishop c3, b3, and then, as you can see, again, it's nothing much. So g6 is already a critical mistake. After this and h5, this is like game over. I mean, like, this is like a game over for having advantage. Like, advantage is gone. Whereas h6, because h6, the best thing you can do as white is to play this idea, this famous triangle. You switch the place of bishop and queen to give a checkmate order. First of all, h6, even g6, if you play later on, white doesn't have a dark square bishop, so your h6 pawn is not going to become weak. So even if it takes 3 tempi, 1, 2, 3, yes, tempi for white to get to that position, to have the bishop on c2, queen down d3, and trying to attack along this diagonal, after 3 tempi, you just at least can play g6. However, it's not only the case. So if you play, for example, queen e2, I go bishop d7, bishop c2. I even don't let it to play queen there, and that's just winning. So it makes a huge, huge difference. So g6, big mistake, big mistake. Well, it doesn't still lose, so I just. So white plays h4. That's a good move. So white is on the right track. And okay, black played bishop to c5. Okay, let me first close this guy. I don't want to. Bishop to c5. What's that move? What's bishop c5? What does it do? I mean, do you really want to take on f2? Do you have time to do that? What's your evaluation of bishop c5?
Really good.
Is really good on a8?
I'm being sarcastic.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, this bishop c5, I really don't know, because first of all, you were worried about g5. It frees the g5 square, so white always can play knight g5. Who cares about the pawn on f2 as this attack is happening? And when we were talking earlier in the game, black was way ahead in development. Now what's happening is that white is way ahead in development. So how should we continue?
Push the pawn.
Push the pawn. Now I want to show you something that would make you feel very interested, make you feel very worried. That's why I told you that that moment h6 and g6 is very important. Now with this mistake, okay, let's see. Let's see. So this position we said, this doesn't really get it, but let's say it's black's advantage. It really is not this number. So as we were looking at, so bishop d7, h5, as we're looking, so rook f8 to c8, queen to d2, and as we were going through it after bishop b4, queen h6, it's actually better for white. So this is equal. This position was equal then, after bishop there. So this really is still catching up to understand what's going on. This position is equal. Bishop c5, white's winning. White's winning. So how many? Okay, I have 2 here. How many do you want more of? Question marks.
2.
So just 2 more.
All right, good.
Are we good?
Yeah, sure.
White plays h5, and that's not game over. Because what's happening now is that white's king is safe. The extra pawn is on d5, which is, so what? The action is taking place on the king's side, and that king is left alone. So black seems not to care, follows his plan, and we appreciate being this bold. You know, it's really great. But white keeps going with his ballistic attack. If h takes g6, and as you can see, this queen has nowhere to go back because we are not letting him. Letting her indeed. So h takes g6. F takes g6. Now, let's deliver. Bishop takes pawn was the easiest one, and that's just game over. But for some reason, white felt that he should do something else, and he took rook takes h7.
Okay, that would work. Okay.
We'll see if it works.
Well,
But
should.
hopefully. Yeah, but that was an easy one. So rook takes h7, king takes h7. Obviously, we have to take check. King g7, and now what? Now, he made it difficult. We are a whole rook down. So I think it was for the dramatic purposes. Now, we are dealing with this position.
H1.
I would say h1, but I think I was an h1 last turn.
Rook h1. Yeah. Rook h1. You wanna?
That's the
Yeah.
You want to play rook to h7 check, bishop f7, and then queen g6, and all these pieces are defending each other. That's fun. So rook h1, and okay, black played. Let me see what black played. Black just played bishop d7, and that's just, as I said, it's checkmate. Yeah, he didn't feel like,
Yeah, that was.
and that was the end of it. But let's see if black would have shown some more resistance. How could we break it down? So let's say
Who's black?
CACG. It's an online game. So
h8, then I would go bishop.
rook h8. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very good. Okay, sorry, that's not the main line. Bishop h7, and now this check cannot be prevented. Look at all these poor pieces over here. Oh my God. But the strongest defense is rook f5. Here now we are in a very, very, again, critical situation. Only one move wins. I'll give up to 5 minutes again.
Would say knight h4.
Knight
Probably what I would
G.
play.
What was G4?
Knight h4.
Knight h4. I take with the bishop. Right? I mean, which
Wait, what? Oh yeah.
I'm cutting the bishop off, and if I eliminate the bishop, I'm probably okay. And the material loss is colossal. So if you, the thing is that what is missing in our attack? I'm cutting the queen.
How about queen to d2?
Queen to d2, excellent try, but I play queen e3. So you also want to get there, but you don't want to get someone get on your way, in your way.
How about queen c1?
Same thing. The only thing you want to give a check on c7, but then I take okay. Let me see. Queen. Then I play bishop e3. Then I play bishop e3.
Okay, because otherwise
Yeah, check. I thought I can take on. My bad. Yes, I thought I can take on g6, but I didn't see queen h7 checkmate for a second. Yes, that's right. Yes, but then I can. Yeah. And the difference is huge because if you don't play the right move, well, actually, queen c1 is the second right move because after queen c1, bishop e3 is. You can play queen e1, bishop f2, and I think that's a draw. But that's it. I don't let you get close there. Bishop take rook. Then I, thanks. Then I just breathe. Just take the bishop, and I don't think you have enough material. I mean, next move comes bishop e6. I put my rook there. I'm begging you to.
What about queen to a4?
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, queen to a4. Now it's happening.
Threatening queen e8.
Are we threatening queen to e8 or something else?
Well, also queen h4 too.
And g4. h4 is covered, so g4, yes.
There's a lot of threats.
Yes. So if I play queen c6 here, you go queen to g4, and if I go queen to c4, what do you do? Oh, sorry. Okay, queen g4, queen c4, and then rook h7, yes, king f8.
Bishop takes castle.
I think you're giving me something here. I mean, at least I can take it. I'm not going to get checkmate.
I'm not sure this is the best.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not going to?
I mean, at least I can trade the queens. And okay, no doubt what is much better, but there's no checkmate. I really want to be able to deliver the checkmate here.
It's still rook h7.
I don't know. That's it, yeah, queen h3. Now, that's where we want to always be. And if queen d3 check, I just go here. Fine, we're cool. Checkmate cannot be prevented. Well, it can be. I mean, I can give up my queen and take the bishop, but I mean, there will be huge material. I can stop it with this move. I can play this, but then I just take the bishop and then take, and then the material is equal, and we are attacking the king, which I mean eventually leads to win. So I mean, I can just play like take, queen here, and I can choose like maybe queen to h2, maybe queen to c3. Both, I mean, they all should win. I mean, now I want just to play knight f3 and I also e6. Just open it up. Okay, I think this is it for today's game. So what did we learn for that? Let's summarize. Let's summarize what did we learn. So find the critical moment. Even if you are winning, it's very, very, very important to find the critical moment of the game. That's the difference between 2000 and 2200, 22 and 24. Keep going up. To find the critical moment, please develop your pieces. Even if you are ahead, over time, you can get behind if you don't bring your pieces out. And in terms of king safety, the head of spears shouldn't be too visible to have a clash, because if you have an immediate clash, could lead to vulnerability of your king. So.